So this is an example of our first guided practice problem. Normally we would do this in class, but we weren't able to finish our class, so I'm demonstrating it right here. So this is going to be a demonstration of application 1. To get to it, you go into your side menu and you click on our first unit, Data Basics, which ends September 11th. And there is your video content for this chapter. And if you continue onward, you will come to, you'll see your side menu here, you'll see all your practice quizzes, and you'll be able to see application A. That's what we're solving today. So let's begin. So here we have the question. It says solve problem 3 on page 26 in your textbook by hand. Take a picture of your results and paste into worksheet A1 in your Excel spreadsheet. In the answer below, describe the histogram in words. So we know we're going to need an Excel spreadsheet to be open, but we also know that we're solving this problem by hand. So I am going to open up a spreadsheet. I'm going to save it. I'll put it right in my place. I'll put application app 01A, and I'll put my name. And it said I need to save it into sheet A1. So let me have sheet A1. And now I should be good to go. Now I can set this aside. So moving on to the problem, for the sake of our convenience, I've already put the problem, I've typed it out for us. You don't need to type it out, but I find it helpful for this demonstration. So a particular block in a suburban neighborhood has 20 households. The number of children in these households are as follows. Make a frequency chart, a histogram, and describe the shape. So let's go ahead and get started on this problem. The first thing that we're needing to do is to make our frequency chart. For a frequency chart, our values go in the left column. And let me just reduce the size of that a little bit so it's not so fat. And we can see to get our values that we need to know our smallest number, which is 0, and our largest number, which is 6. And we know that we don't want to be tricked. We need to have every single value. And so we'll put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Next, I'm going to make a little temporary column for our tally marks. Try something here that I just learned about to make nice straight lines. Oh, it only works in the new version. All right, next we're going to make our tally marks. And in this case, we can start to just go through and mark each one where it goes. So 2 is going to go here, 4, 2. You can follow right along with me and do this because this is what you're going to be handing in yourself. Sorry about that. 2, 4, 2, 1, 0, 3, 6, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 2, and 2. So we're now ready to mark our frequencies. So for 0, we had 4, we had 6 individuals with 1 child, we had 7 with 2, 2 with 3, 1 with 4, 0 with 5, and 1 with 6. Let's make sure they add up to 20. And it looks like They add up to 21. My numbers never do quite come out quite right. And I don't know where I made my mistake. And so you'll do it correctly where you go. So I'm going to imagine that I made my mistake right up here in the zeros, and I'm going to just cross that one off and mark it at 3. You guys can do it like I'm doing it, or you can do it correctly based on what's in your book. The next thing we do in making a frequency table is we make our percent column, and we take, again, our frequency over total. And now I know that our total is 20. And so we can take 3 divided by 20. And this should be 1 point, let's see. Let me get my calculator out so I don't make any mistakes. I know that I think it's 15%, but let me make sure I'm correct on this by using my calculator. And here it comes. 3 divided by 20 is 15%. Okay, that's what I thought. I was correct. So 15%. And so 6 will be 30%. And 7 will be 35%. 2 will be 10%. 1 will be 5%. 0 is 0%, and 1 is 5%. And if this is done correctly, it adds up to 100, 30, that's 65, 80, 90, and 100%. So we've done well with this, except for whatever went wrong up there. And now we go ahead and make our histogram. And so let's make sure we get our proportions right. Here is our x-axis, here our y-axis, here is our x-axis. Our values go below. I'll actually mark them as, let me just erase that and put down our values. And I'm just going to make sure we know what we're referring to. We're referring to the number of children. So we had 0 as a possibility, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our frequencies range from 1 to 7. And so we'll put 1 here, and we'll put 7 up on top, and 4. Try to make them even. 2, 3, 5, 6. We can go ahead and mark now. So our frequencies for the 0 was 3. Maybe I'll change my pen color for the sake of interest. So our first bar will be like this. 1 children, we had 6. For 2 children, we had 7. Notice we're taking care to make sure all of our bars are touching. For 3 children, we had 2. For 4 children, we had 1. For 5 children, we had 0. And for 6 children, we had 1. We could color these in solid or with a single design. We don't change the design because we want to show that these numbers can be manipulated, calculated with. And so that is an example of a histogram. Now remember, when we make graphs, our purpose is communication. So you'll want to always label your graphs that you make. We number it in the APA style and label it. And so because this is problem 1, let me see if I can move this up so I have room for my title. I'll number it with chart 1. I'll put a period after that, and I'll write histogram of number of children per family in a suburban block. Now, anyone looking at this chart will know what we're talking about. We've labeled the x-axis, we've indicated our frequencies, and we've labeled the chart and named it. Our last step says to describe the shape. So let's get a nice red line here, and let's draw a line that approximates the shape of this distribution. And if I were describing this shape, I would say this is a unimodal. I don't see a lot of kurtosis here, so I'll write non-kurtotic, positively skewed or right skewed distribution. Our problem now gives us some indication of what we should do to actually answer this question. So first off, I'm going to take a screenshot and you would be taking a picture of your answer. So here we go. I'm going to copy all of this. And as according to the instructions, I'm going to paste it into my spreadsheet on problem 1. And so I can simply paste it. There we go. And now it also says something that we have to do in the key itself. And so it says, take a picture of your results and paste into worksheet A1. In the answer box below, describe the histogram in words. So what we wrote on our sheet, we wouldn't have had to write it there because it's asking us to write it here. So I'm going to rewrite this and write, this is a positively skewed, non-symmetrical, I can put that on there even though it's kind of redundant, non-symmetrical, non-kurtotic, unimodal distribution. And this is adequate because we're talking about the shape of the distribution in this case. I can then just click submit. I'll be submitting this spreadsheet later, and I can go to answer 2.